friends. It's Carrie from Stretch G. We're going to start class in about 8 minutes. So hold tight. We'll start right at 11 o'clock Central. And if you're watching this pre-recorded, go ahead and forward about 8 minutes in, okay? See you soon. Hi, friends. Good morning. Happy Friday. Hey, it's Friday at 11. I have to admit that I really like these later classes. It gives me the morning. I journal, and today I totally revamped my whole space so that you guys have a better view, and the lighting should be better. I have a little more room. I can utilize wall space. I'm really excited about my new setup. You'll see it soon, but you can kind of see. I did have to put a blanket on the doorway though, because the light comes in from the other room, and I ordered some curtains, but you know how the online shipping is going these days. They should be here by June. So so there's that. Of course, they tell me that. Morning, Crystal. They tell me that after I pay for them and everything's all set. So such is life. I hope you guys are doing well. Say hi. Definitely tell me who's here. Let me know if there's anything specific you guys want to work on today. But I am going to pull cards today and see what what pops out, and that'll give us a little bit of something to focus on for sure, and give me a little bit of a challenge for my brain. We did get Supine Bound angle pose, which is kind of like our groin stretch, but you're laying on your back. So this will be a really nice way for us to relax and get a different stretch in, but it also means that we're going to need to work on that external rotation in your hips, which I know is very exciting. And I also know that it's something that you wanted to work on, Crystal. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you let me know, because if I didn't know you were here, I'd be like, oh, you should have had this yesterday. And then we're going to pick 3 cards that come from the Osho Zen deck. These cards are more of, they're like meditative cards. So the messages that I get from these cards will basically lead me on what kind of focus and attention I want to put into class today. And that's something that you can take for leave, right? So you can just be here for the stretching, or you can be here for a little bit of something growth-wise, a little bit of a deeper healing. So I did just pull this card. We'll put this into our mental stretches today. This is the Miser card. There's a glare a little bit. There you go. It's like an old lady, and she's holding on to everything she owns. I mean, like everything. So that'll be really interesting for holding on to our thought patterns and how that relates to holding on to things in our bodies, right? It's very interesting. In our emotional space, let's see what pops out. Oh, you know what? There's one upside down. It's in there, so we'll take it. It's called Innocence. Oh, I love this. It's an old man, and he's got a grasshopper, and they're just hanging out together. And it's just this idea of like being completely awe, right? Being kind of awestruck. So that's kind of fun. So we'll look into that a little bit today too. Healing energy for sure. And also just, understanding that sometimes in our bodies there are things that we don't know, right? And there we go. We had that one yesterday, so let's pick this one. I like this one better. I can do what I want. It's my class. This is for our spiritual stretches today. We'll do this card, which is all about balance. So fun. We can do some balancing poses, and I have one very specific one in mind that I think will be very, very fun. Oh, this is going to be great. Okay, wait until you guys see my new setup. This is so awesome. So let me grab these cards. I actually had planned to put Christmas lights up behind it. I had all these lights left over, from Christmas. And none of them worked. Like, I plugged them in and they didn't work. I was like, do I need to fix the fuse or something? And no, they just didn't work. So you don't get Christmas lights, but it's all right. See how much better this is? Oh, sorry, left me a present. She plays with these twist ties, and her favorite ones are the black ones that come on electronics. Come on, ready? Whoa, yeah, she's not joking about those things. All right. So off we go. Off we go. Be sure to check it on the chat, you guys. I'm not kidding. If you guys have anything that you want to work on, I am so happy to help you. These classes, it's still pretty early in the game as far as YouTube goes for me. So there aren't that many people in class. Like, you guys can actually get some pretty individualized attention if you need it. So feel free to reach out. All you have to do is write down in the description below if you have any questions or comments. If you're not watching this live though, I can't help you right now. Like, you have to fast forward to where it's live, okay? Otherwise, it'll just go into the description. Of course, then if you just write it in the comments and I get that later, I'll still help you because, I'm just sitting around. It's lockdown life. All right, so the first thing I want to do is check out this supine bound angle that we were, the card that we picked. So basically what you do is you go into like a lotus pose. This is like your butterfly position like this. And you're going to lay on your back and let your knees open up as much as they want and let your hands open up. Now what you'll notice here is that you might have some real limitations. I notice right away that I feel my quads trying to engage, like right through here. I feel them kind of like pinchy. They kind of want to lock up. What you might feel is a stretch in your inner thighs. That would be okay. You might feel a little bit of tension through your low back, so check that out. And then also notice if your shoulders feel safe. Do they feel like they can lay flat? How does that feel for you? Even if you go from with your knees up like this and your feet like flat on the floor and you start to open up, what's the point where your body says, wait a second, mine's, to be honest, is about here. That's about where my body says, oh, okay, that's neutral. And if I let gravity overtake it, then I start to feel a little bit of pain through my quads. So we're going to work on that, see if we can get these opened up, okay? So, oh, you brought me back. Thanks, go get it. So what we'll start off with then, start right with it. Bring your feet together, put your elbows on your knees, and you're gonna squeeze in for strength and push open for your stretch. And you should feel your inner thigh stretch right in the front here, right? You can do this sitting up on a block if you feel like you need to, or you can also rotate around and do this with your feet on the wall. So instead you would lay flat on your back. I'll show you that in just a second. So to make sure that those of you who are sitting up feel comfortable with this one, right? And then on your back, you just get close to the wall, bring your feet up against the wall, and you can use your hands to push open while you fight with your legs. Hi, Bubba. I know, I'm upside down. And this also will get a nice stretch through your inner thighs. Here's another one. They're all over the place. That's right. This is going to be all through class. You guys, she loves those things. As I was moving things around, I moved one like a file cabinet, and it's one of those file cabinets where it like kind of hangs a little bit. And as I moved the file cabinet, it was like all twist ties everywhere. She just stared at it like, oh my gosh. It was like a kid at Christmas, the way that they were just like looking at all their presents and they're like, I don't even know what to do right now. So let's go into a stretch with the outside of our hamstrings. This one's for your lateral hamstring. That's the third twist tie. Lateral hamstring here. Grab the outside of your left foot with your right hand. And then you're going to twist so that your your knee comes in towards your elbow and your foot comes out a little bit to the left. And then kick down for strength. You'll kick down towards your hip. And as you pull up, you're going to pull up towards your head. But since you're on a diagonal, it'll feel like you're pulling a little bit to the right. But really focus on this being an up and down motion. And you should feel this in your hamstring, but it'll be on the outer part of your hamstring, like right through here on the outside. It could go into your glute a little bit. You can kind of play around with that. If you're having trouble with this, you can use a strap or a rope, but all you would do is just extend the rope. I usually have a towel here. I knew I was forgetting something. So you could use a towel or a rope or something just to basically extend your arm a little bit. Where are all your toys, Baba? What happened? Down for strength, then up for stretch. You can do as many as you want to do, and then we'll just switch sides. And then bring your right leg up. You're going to take your left arm and cross it over to grab the outside of your right foot. Internally rotate your knee so that it cuddles in close to your elbow. Your foot will come towards the wall, towards the right side. And you kick down for strength, and then you push up for stretch. So I'm just pulling up over my left ear, I'm kicking down towards my right hip, and you just go up and down. So on the way up, this is your stretch, and on the way down, it's strength training. And you should feel the outside part of your hamstring. Now, if you ever don't feel this or if it feels bad, you can change it. You can just not do it. That's okay. You can work in smaller ranges of motion, like maybe just working this much. That would be okay. Just do what feels good to you. Down for strength, then up for stretch. You just go back and forth. So stick with that one for a second. I just want to read the chat real quick. Squatting today, huh, Crystal? Yeah, well, I think that's something we can work on right now, to be honest, because as we move through this pattern, now it's time for quads, right? And quads is all about squats are about quad flexibility. So basically when you go into a squat and you get down, the quad here is in a really long position. And then to get back up, your quads shorten, right? So what we'll do is, hi, you're so cute today. Your feet wide, and then bring your hands in front of you, and very slowly start to come down, bring your butt towards the floor. And when you feel like you're unstable, you push back up. So you don't have to go all the way to the ground, okay? You just go to the point where you're like, nah, I'm not sure about this. And it could be when your knees start to scream at you, or when you start to feel like you might fall over, or when you feel like your heels want to come up, because in a true squat, your heels are on the floor, right? So you just kind of play around with that, and it could just be a small amount, not a big amount, but a small amount. I like to have my hands in front just for counterbalance. You don't necessarily have to have them there, but I find in this position, having my hands here keeps me from falling back. It's kind of nice. And then up for strength. So for those of you who can't get all the way to the ground, it's enough just to be here. And then squeeze with your quads to bring yourself back up. And you just go as far as you can and back up, okay? It should feel like you're gonna sit in a chair. So you kind of find that, like you're gonna sit in a chair, and then you're gonna sit on a smaller chair, you're gonna sit on a smaller chair, and then you push yourself back up. Okay, just where you feel like you wanna go. All right, let's get one more in here. Good job. Okay, whew. That's tough work. That is tough work. All right, now let's go into our medial hamstring stretch. This is one for the inside hamstring, right here. It's almost like your inner thigh. So you're gonna lay on your back, grab your right foot with your right hand. You could grab your heel actually with your thumb on the bottom, and then just kick down and pull up for your stretch. My knees open up about 45 degrees from my body, so my knees actually pushing, or my knee is like up to the right just a little bit. My arm's on the inside of my leg. So down for strength, and up for stretch. And you just go back and forth. And again, you should feel this like on the inside of your hamstring right here. If you don't feel that, it's okay to skip the stretch or just to, take it a little bit at a smaller range, right? Or maybe if you can't reach it or you want to get a little further away, grab your toe. Or you could also, this is where you can use a strap or a rope so that you can extend your arm a little bit. I like to have my head up and hold my head with my hand, but you're welcome to have your head down too. And then this other leg will change the stretch based off whether it's up or whether it's down. You might feel a more intense stretch with your leg down, or you might feel less stretch with your leg down. It just depends on where you're tight. I feel like my hip flexors are tight right now, probably because I moved a lot of furniture this morning. But if my hip flexor's tight here, then being in this position, I'm going to feel this more than I feel this. So I'm just going to bring my leg up so that I can really isolate my hamstring. Make sense? Okay, now let's do the other side. So let your leg fly open to the left, just let it kind of fall in place. Grab your big toe, grab your heel, use a rope or a towel or a strap, and then kick down for strength and pull up. And as you pull up, it's a diagonal pull at a diagonal to the left, but I'm really pulling this way, like over my head. It just happens that because I'm on this diagonal, it feels like it's going to the left. But I'm not actually like bringing my leg towards I'm not going that way. My hip is pretty locked in place. And so you just go down for strength and up for stretch. Now this stretch is kind of a fun one, especially because our card that came up today for this group of stretches was the balance card, where this guy is like basically jumping from one stone to another stone, and he's just jumping back and forth. So what I want you to do is a little crazy. Grab both legs. You can lay back, find yourself in like a happy baby position. So you're in a comfortable position, you can kind of rock back and forth. And then kick down with your right leg and pull up into the stretch. And then kick down with your left leg and pull into the stretch. And kick down with your right leg and pull into the stretch. And kick down with your left leg and pull into the stretch. Isn't it amazing how your brain kind of wants to explode right now? It's so tough. It's like, I don't know which way I'm going. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you first learned how to skip and how awkward that was. Like it's like, okay, you stop and you hop and you stop and you hop and you stop and you hop, and you really have to think about it like crazy. When you do this juggling act with both legs, it's like your brain is like, what? So great. It's a good trick for us. Okay, now we did our quad stretch in we did the quad stretch like a squat. Oh, there's my towel. I knew it was around here somewhere. Hold on a second. If you guys could see my kitchen right now, it's all full of stuff. Furniture, books, bags of mail that I haven't opened. All kinds of stuff. It's all in the kitchen because it's not in here. So take your towel, have it like doubled up so that you have a little bit of cushion, or you could use a pillow, or you could just use your mat and put it up against the wall. And we're going to get a quad stretch in here. So start on all fours. Take your right leg and drop it against the wall so that your foot is flat on the wall and your other leg comes around to the front, and then come up into a lunge. Now, if you can't get into a good, like a neutral pose here where you feel comfortable, then your knee's too close to the wall. So find a place, find the point where your knee hits the floor where you feel safe. So maybe if you slide your knee out a little bit more, then you feel safe, right? Or maybe if you slide your knee in more, it feels better, right? So play around with that and see what feels good. Same thing with your foot. Your foot can be flat like this with your toenails against the wall, or you can turn it the other way so that the bottom of your toes are against the wall. So I think you can see the difference. It's like one's like this, the other's kind of like this. Now you're going to push an external forces. So your back leg is going to push into the wall. It's like I'm trying to kick the wall over, trying to straighten out my back leg. My front leg is going to also try to straighten out, but the floor is there. So if you think about trying to straighten both legs, your back leg will push you forward and your front leg will push you back. And you'll get that stretch through your quad. It should be right through here. So forward for strength and back for your stretch. And remember to keep pushing in both directions, both ways. I'm just resting on my leg because it feels good today, but you don't have to. You could open your arms up if it feels good. Sometimes that'll intensify the stretch. You could lift your arms up towards the ceiling as you stretch. You could hold on to something if you feel a little unstable, like grab a chair and just hold on to it. That'd be okay too. And just kind of play around with this one a little bit. See how it feels to you. And see if you can get a deeper stretch in your quad. That is an intense one. Now this one, the quad stretch, is like more into our mental category of stretches. You don't have to understand why, just go with me on this one, okay? But this one was the card we picked for the miser. The miser was about like holding on to everything you have, which is kind of funny because I basically like emptied out this room and all the things that I want to get rid of are in my kitchen. There's a chair, there's my computer that I have to figure out what to do with, it's old and doesn't work. There's like bags of stuff, like all the clutter that I just sometimes go through my house and I'm like, I'll deal with this stuff later, and I just put stuff in bags because I'm like not ready to deal with them. Let's switch sides. Bring your hands down and flip to the other side. So your left leg will go on the towel, your foot flat against the wall if it feels good, and up into a lunge, and then just change your knee angle, like where your knee hits the floor, to to change the intensity of the stretch. You can kind of regulate it. That's the word I'm looking for. Push with your back leg like you're trying to straighten your leg out. Push with your front leg like you're trying to straighten it out, but let them both be fixed. And then as you push with your back leg, you'll come forward. And as you push with your front leg, you'll come back. So if this stretch feels good, stick with it. If it doesn't feel good, skip it. If you want, you could just go back into some squats. We're going to do those in a little bit, so you can get a little deeper into that stretch. But if you want to dive a little deeper, you can think about the things that you need to clean out, like the places where you're hoarding. What can you clean, right? Maybe it's a closet. Maybe it's your shoe collection. Maybe it's your pantry. Maybe maybe you also have loads and loads, stacks of mail that you just need to kind of sort through. Nothing that really ever is like pertinent that comes in the mail these days anymore. So every once in a while I just have to go through it. It's also interesting, if you guys are following the Life Renovations course, I'm going to post a diet challenge today, I think. It depends on how long it takes me to edit the video. But the diet challenge today is all about cleaning out your pantry and coming up with this, with things that are more healthy and natural for you, finding replacements for things that make sense, right? What do you need to clean out? I definitely have some stuff, like I recognize, as I was moving the bookcases, I have like receipts and things because I own a business from years and years and years ago, but you really only need to save them for 7 years, I think. So I can get rid of a lot of that stuff. I just have to actually process it, right? So that's kind of what this miser card is about. And as you open up this stretch and get through these, get through these stretches a little bit more, you may notice that something pops up in your mind that you're ready to get rid of, okay? So, keep that, do what you want with that. Okay, let's come right back into our our groin stretch. Your elbows on your knees, and then you're gonna squeeze in for strength and open for your stretch to see if maybe you can get a little deeper into this stretch. So open for strength and close for stretch. I'm sorry, I said that the wrong way. Open for stretch and close for strength. You guys know what I mean. See if you can find some stretch in your inner thighs here. And then just to see, we're going to go back into our squat and see if we can get a little bit more mobility through the squat now that we've done some other things. Okay, so come on up into a standing position. Bring your hands in front of you if you want, and start to bend your knees. I find like a little bit of an anterior tilt helps me, so you kind of like stick your butt out a little bit, and very slowly drop down towards the floor. And when you start to feel like you've gone far enough, you can come back up. You don't have to go all the way down, and I definitely don't want you to get to a place where you fall, okay? So as you come down towards the floor, when you start to feel like you might collapse or you might lose your balance, come right back up. If you feel any knee pain or any problems in this, then don't go that far. Only go to the place where you feel really good. This one really burns sometimes. It gets a lot of heat in my body just in general. So down for your stretch and up for strength. Okay, good job. Okay, so now that we've done those and we've kind of cleaned some things up, I think it'll be interesting to see how our supine bound angle stretch, it's so many fancy words. It basically means we're going to lay on our back and put our feet together Your arms will come palms up down at your sides, and then you can just let your legs open up to where they feel comfortable. And then pay attention to what you feel now. I don't feel my quads anymore. I definitely feel my groin stretch a bit. So there's that. I also feel a little bit of tension in my low back. So that's kind of interesting. And we'll just keep playing around with it and see what happens, okay? It's funny because you think like, well, if I just stay in that pose for long enough that it's just gonna open up on its own. And that's not really how it works. You have to unlock all the things around it to get it to unlock. That doesn't mean that you're gonna get your knees to the floor. Sometimes people are like, oh, I just wanna get my knees to the floor. I really should be able to do that. You can let that go. Your ability to get your knees to the floor in this kind of stretch really has to do with the shape of your pelvis and your hips. That's bones. That has nothing to do with flexibility most of the time. All right. Very good. What next? You know, let's do some arm stretches and we'll go from there. So, sit back, bring your hands behind you so that your fingers are pointing towards your feet. You're gonna rotate your shoulders in. So I'm just gonna turn my shoulders like this in towards my body, and then I'm gonna push with my arms to lift my chest up. You can let your head come back if it feels good. And find that stretch in the front of your shoulders, maybe in your neck, in the front of your neck, like through here. The front of your shoulders, your forearms, your biceps. And just take note of what this stretch feels like for you. Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Do you notice anything else in your body? Like, it's kind of a funny thing, but every once in a while my body will give me a sign that like something's not quite right. That's why I picked this one today, because I know I've got a little problem here. I feel a little bit of tension back here, which means I need to work on my traps, but I'm also getting a little like headache, just a little one right here. So pay attention to what your body's telling you. You never know. It might tell you a lot of interesting things. So in for strength and open for stretch. And then when you're ready, we're going to explore some other stretches to see if we can get these opened up. So let's go ahead into our traps muscle. So you're gonna bring your right arm across your body and grab your wrist with your left hand. Push up for strength all the way up, and then pull down for your stretch. And when you pull down, you're pulling to the left, and your head will also go to the left. You can lean your head forward just a little bit to see if you can find a neck stretch, and then just go up and down. So up for strength, and down for your stretch. Your head to the side. And you just go back and forth, up and down, up for strength, and down for stretch. Find the stretch here on the right side of your neck and through the back of your shoulders. See if you can find that. It may mean that you have to really plant your shoulders in like a square position. So your shoulders should be really square over your hips, but not twisting and turning. So I'm not turning with the stretch. I'm not looking to the left. I'm keeping my chest pointing straight forward. My shoulders are square. When I get to the bottom, I'm going to keep resisting and bring my head to the side and a little forward. And then if you look up to the right, you might notice that you get that stretch a little more. Okay, so up for strength and down for stretch. Your head to the side. And just go up and down. All right, and when you're ready, we'll switch sides. So bring your left arm across your body, grab your wrist with your right hand, push up for strength, and then pull down for your stretch. This time you're pulling to the right. You'll bring your head to the right at the end. A little forward, maybe look up to the left and see what happens. See if you can grab that stretch in your neck just a little bit more. Up for strength and down for stretch. And you just find that stretch at the very end there. You should be able to feel this stretch on the left side of your neck here. If you don't feel that or if it feels uncomfortable, you can work in a smaller range of motion, so it's okay to just move this much. Just work in the way that feels good to you. You could also need to problem solve this stretch, and if that's the case, you might want to check out some of my problem solving videos. I have a whole playlist of problem solving videos for each stretch. You could also learn these stretches one by one. I have like a step, like stretch by stretch, like a small video of every single stretch that walks you through how to do them. So that might be helpful for you too. But the important thing is to make sure that you don't move in a place where you feel painful at all. Like nothing should be uncomfortable. Everything should feel pretty good. All right, one more up. And then down into your stretch and get your neck in there too. Oh, nice work. Okay, now we're gonna work on the back of our shoulders. So bring your right arm up and grab the outside of your elbow with the other hand. And you're gonna push open to the right, and as you do that, your left elbow will straighten out. Like not completely, but you'll feel that like straightening motion in your elbow. Then bend your left elbow and pull your right arm across, and you'll feel this in the back of your right shoulder. So push open for strength and pull across for your stretch. Open for strength and across for stretch. Oh, I feel like my neck can get in here too today. You can try it if you want to see what happens. Play around with what your body says is good for you, because your body knows, it really does. And when you resist like this, your muscles will start to move in ways that are very natural to them. It's called pandiculation. So like what happened was, as I went into the stretch, my neck kind of automatically just started to move without even thinking about it, right? So if your body wants to do that, it's okay. It just means that your muscles, or your fascia, is telling you exactly what it needs. So find the stretch in the back of your shoulder. And then when you're ready, we'll move to the other side. So bring your left arm up, grab your elbow with your other hand. And as you push open to the left, your right elbow will start to straighten out, and then bend your right elbow and pull across for your stretch. You should feel this in the left shoulder in the back, right through here. And then open for strength and close it up for stretch. It's so good. And the stretch for this one again is the one where he's like jumping from one stone to another. And you can also think about this being like a really like step-by-step kind of motion, like really being in the present moment, because you're on one stone, and then you're on the next stone, and then you're on the next stone. And you have to be in a really present mindset to do that, otherwise you fall over, right? Like you can't actually like be thinking about too many other things as you're jumping, from one stone to another in a river, right? So take a second and just really pay attention to exactly what your muscles feel like, moment by moment. So as you push open, in this moment, what do you feel? 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 And it's different, right? Each time, every place, every point on the spectrum will feel a little bit different. That's why we move all the time. That's why we don't hang out in one stretch for a long time. Like that's why sitting here and holding it for 10 seconds doesn't do you any good, because there's actually progress happening through the entire range of motion, through the whole movement. So it's cool to be really aware of what's happening moment by moment, right? I think so. All right, we're gonna do some push-ups. You can do these on the floor or you can do them on the wall. Now I've been doing these on the floor, but I'm gonna show you how to do them on the wall because I figured out how to get the wall into the camera. It's kind of genius. Woohoo! So here I just have my arms really wide on the wall, and I'm in a plank position. I'm actually at a place where if I was standing up, I can't reach the wall, but I'm pretty close. And then when I put my arms on the wall, I lean forward, so I'm holding up my body weight. But you just want to hold up enough body weight that you feel comfortable. Like I'm not going to be really far back, and I'm not going to be so far in that I don't have any difference in my body weight, right? So you want to make sure that you feel like you're holding yourself up with your arms. And then bend your elbows open to the side, like straight out east and west. And lean in towards the wall. And then use your arms to push you back up. This is a stretch for the front of your shoulders, your chest. You might feel it all the way to your sternum. It could go in the front of your arms, like in your armpits, into your biceps. But if you feel anything in the back of your shoulders, it means you still have work to do. So you can let that go if that's the case. So you push up for strength and in for your stretch. And you just go back and forth. If you're doing this on the floor, it's the same exact thing. It's just, just a little different. Somehow the screen moved on its own. I couldn't see you guys. I want to see you guys. When you're done with that stretch, bring your hands behind you and turn your fingers towards your feet. Roll your shoulders in towards your belly and then push with your hands to lift your chest up, opening your shoulders, bringing your head back. That should feel a lot better than it did the first time. I don't have that funny headache anymore. I don't feel the same kind of tension in my back. I feel a lot safer in this stretch. Now, if you want to take this stretch and challenge it a little bit, you can balance on your feet and your hands and lift your hips up. And as you do that, you can bring your head back if it feels good, and then pull your head back in, bring your hips down, curl your shoulders in, and then back up. So my hips come up, my shoulders are opening, my head comes back as far as it feels safe, and then I come right back in. You don't have to come all the way up into a plank if that doesn't feel good for you, or into that full table. Just do what feels right. Down for strength and up for stretch. Now, if you're in this position and you like it, you can start to think a little bit about challenging your balance. Think about every motion, but kind of crab walk to the edge of your mat. And then see if you can crab walk back. Whew. One should be harder than the other. Backwards is a little harder for me than forwards, maybe because I can't see anything. But you can kind of play around with that. With your flexibility, it's pretty interesting, right? Awesome. Whew. Breath. It's good for us. All right, let's go back to our leg stretches. Aha. I think hip flexors. Yeah. So let's go into a lunge with your left leg behind and your right leg in the front. Try to scissor your legs together so your front leg is going to try to pull back while your back leg is trying to pull forward. And use your front leg to pull you into that stretch. And as you do that, lean up just a little bit. Like try to almost like bring your shoulders back, your chest forward. You should feel your hip stretch in the front of your left hip. And then just go back and forth. Back for strength and forward for stretch. You just go back and forth. Now our card for this one is innocence. It's so funny. It's this funny card. It's this guy. He's got to be like 100 years old. He's all like wrinkly and gray haired, and he's got a beard, and he's just holding this praying mantis, and he's like, whoa, like it's the coolest thing. Now I wonder if you put that idea into this stretch, what that would feel like for you. There are parts of this stretch, there are parts of you that are new and different. Can you kind of like wow yourself in this stretch? Can you kind of blow your mind by looking at it from a place of just pure innocence? Like you've never seen this stretch before, never done this stretch before, and maybe you haven't. Then you might be like, what is happening? But if you've done this a million times, and I know some of you have, take some time to do this stretch and really wonder at how it feels. Like it's the first time you've ever done it. What can you learn about yourself in this stretch? Back for strength and forward for stretch. And again, just really notice it, like it's the first time you've ever experienced it. So you can really tap in to that, like, that wonder. I mean, this guy's looking at a praying mantis on his hand. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, it's totally a praying mantis. I mean, praying mantises are ridiculous. They're like, there's a lot to look at there, right? You could really explore it from all different angles. It's got funny hands, it's got funny back, it's got that head, you know? All right, let's switch sides. So bring your left leg to the front, your right leg behind, and you're going to scissor your legs. your front leg will pull you into the stretch and your back leg will pull you back. So use your back leg to pull you into strength training. So this will like curl you up into a ball. And then your front leg will pull you forward so you get this stretch through the front of your right hip. You just kind of lean back a little bit. See if you can find that stretch. And then come back for strength. Then forward again for your stretch. And again, just find the simplicity in this and see what you can explore. See if you can look at this from brand new eyes today. Especially if you've done this a million times. Like if you are like the old guy, none of you are the old guy in this picture. It's like a gazillion years old. But if you feel like you've done this stretch a million times, what can you find out about it today that's brand new? It's just like a spark of something new, a spark of innocence, a spark of like awe. See if you can find it. See if there's a way that you can move gently. Maybe just a little turn to the side, or maybe just a little tuck of your pelvis or something that makes it more intense or makes it feel better to you. See if you can find that. All right, and now we're going to go into our hamstrings. So bring your right leg back to the front again. And this time what you're going to do is you're going to try to squeeze your heel in towards your glutes. But the mat's going to stop you. And so if you continue to try to overpower that feeling, like you really try to contract this hamstring, it's going to pull you forward, similar to the lunge we were just in. And then, instead of going into the stretch for the outside of your left hip, you're going to continue contracting the hamstring here, trying to pull your heel back towards your body this way, and lean back. Let your back leg pull you back. And then if you want, you can lean forward into the stretch until you feel good, and then you just pull yourself back up. There's a decent amount of strength that has to happen to pull you back up like this. So just find what works the best for you. Down into your stretch by just leaning forward, but I'm still kicking my heel into the floor. And then I can pick myself up out of this position. And that's one of the most important things that I want you guys to understand, is that no matter what position we're in, like if I go deep into this stretch, I can still lift my hands up, contract this leg, and pull myself back up, right? It's pretty awesome. We don't ever want to get into a stretch where we can't bring ourselves out of it easily. So in for strength, and then back for your stretch. Good. Let's switch sides. So bring your left leg up. Try to kick your heel towards your glutes. That's going to pull you forward. When you start to feel your right leg kind of stretching a little bit, then go ahead and shift your weight back so that you can put the focus on your hamstring here. You should feel it in the back of your leg. If that feels good and everything's fine, then stick with it. If that doesn't feel good, just skip the stretch. You can try it another day. It's totally fine. I'll be here. And then as you're doing this stretch, you can explore that idea of like what you're holding on to and what you need to get rid of. What are you hoarding in your world? Now, before we thought about kind of like our physical world, but what if you think about like your mental world? What are you hoarding in your mind? For many, many years, I wrote Life Renovations course like 7 years ago. And I taught it as an online class, but only to people who were paying and, put the effort in. We did it kind of like a webinar. And it was all mostly local people. And I kind of like held on to it too tight. And then at a certain point, I recognized that like my consciousness was shifting a little bit. And some of the lessons needed to be upgraded. And I was also really focused on like building my physical studio downtown. So I stuffed that stuff back into the depths of my brain. And just recently, being at home and finding content for you guys here on YouTube, it started to come back out. And now I'm able to upgrade and I'm letting those things out of my mind. And it feels really good. It's like getting me back to my true self and helping me to incorporate all the things into class that we need to incorporate, which is kind of fun, I think. I think it's super fun. But that's me. And then as things work out, like that will attract the right kind of people to me, and that's a cool thing. Also, when I first started stretching, and when I started working as a Ki-Hara trainer, I stopped teaching piano lessons completely. And I found that that was really hard for me. And I felt so much joy and almost like elation to teach piano students again, to have just not a lot, but just a few piano students, because I had all this information in my head that I wanted to share, and I just didn't have anybody to share it with. So now that I do, I find a better balance in my life. So think about that. What are you holding on to? And what are you holding on to specifically in your mind? Like, what tools and tricks do you have? What is your unique gift that you have? And are you hoarding it? Are you able to let a little bit of it out? Bring your right leg on top of your left leg and grab your left leg with both hands. Push your right leg away from your body. That'll pull you up into a crunch, but my right leg's doing that work. And I'm just gonna lay back and stretch out the outside of my right hip. This goes into your glutes, and you just go back and forth. So pulling in for your stretch and pushing out for strength. If this is too intense for you, you can extend the range by using a towel, like holding on here, like wrapping the towel around your leg, like this, and pulling in. That'll extend it a little bit so that you have a little bit more range of motion. You can go out further, right? Or you could even sit in a chair to do this stretch. Let me show you this one real quick because it's pretty useful. So you sit on the chair and bring your right leg on top, and then you just point your toe and come off your heel to lift up, lean forward a bit, and you'll get this stretch. And then use your top leg to push you back down. So there's kind of a fight between your foot and your right leg. This is my right leg. I usually mirror my arms, but not my legs. I don't know why. And so it's just a back and forth, just like this. Okay, when you're ready, we can switch sides. So bring your left leg up, whether it's on a chair, seated, you know what I mean, or on top of your right leg like this, and grab your right leg behind, and then push open for strength and pull in for your stretch. And again, it's just a back and forth motion. So forward here is strength training, the muscle short, and as I pull back, the muscle's getting longer. And you should feel it here through your glute. And again, if this one doesn't feel good, you can do it on the chair. You can shorten your range of motion, so maybe just moving a little bit like this would be okay. Or you can just skip it, right? Check out some of the problem-solving videos. Reach out to me in the description, or the chat, I mean. In the chat, you can reach out, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll address it in another class. Or you can always reach out to me too. You can go to my website, stretchchi.com. We can do a one-on-one session. So out for strength and in for stretch. And then lay on your back. You're already on your back. Bring your feet up towards the ceiling and grab your knees on the inside. And you're going to squeeze your legs together while you use your arms to open them wide. Opening up for your stretch and in for strength. Opening up for stretch and in for strength. Now I know here in Chicago it's 11 a.m., getting close to 12 probably by this point. For those of you who might be on the West Coast, I know I have some West Coast people, it's morning for you. And so you have the whole day, right? You have the whole day ahead of you. And we want to explore a little bit of this idea of innocence and awe. So take a second during the stretch to think about what you could do today that you can be really present and pay really close attention to things that are new, different, that change. Like maybe you could get outside and take a walk and see what springtime looks like for you. And really just take a really nice walking meditation to see if you can find something that inspires you, something that gives you a little bit of awe, something that inspires the innocence in you. If you have kids, it'd be fun to play with the kids. If you have, if you don't have kids with you, but you have nieces, nephews, grandkids, whatever, to call them and just really dive into the innocence. I think that'll give you some insight today. It can't hurt, right? It actually can be really fun. Okay, let's go into a stretch for the back of our shoulders. You're going to bring your hands up here, your elbows out to the side, and then try to squeeze your elbows together. And then open up. And squeeze. You should feel your shoulder blades opening and closing a little bit. So as you open here, you're strengthening all the muscles in your back are getting short. And as you close it, the muscles are getting longer. And again, you can work in smaller ranges of motion if you want, like just through here would be fine. If you have any pain or anything though, go ahead and skip this stretch. Open for strength and close for stretch. And this one would be another one to focus on innocence with. Maybe from a creative standpoint. So when you were a kid, let's go there. When you were a kid and you wanted to do something like artistic, what was your go-to? Did you paint? Did you draw? Did you color the walls? Did you make music? Did you like coloring books? Did you like to make up dances? What is your creative thing that you could do? Maybe you could find some time to do that this weekend or today. That would be kind of fun too, right? Let's dive into all this stuff. Love it. Okay, so let's go into a stretch for your chest now, front of your chest. Again, find a wall. Bring your hands right in front of you. And again, you should feel like you're putting your weight onto your hands. So if you stand up, you can't reach the wall. And then you kind of like fall against the wall. If this hurts your wrists, then don't do it, okay? But hopefully this feels good. Then you're gonna pull your arms down, but the wall will stop you. So you find the traction on the wall and try to pull your hands down like this, like you're trying to slap your legs. But the tension on the wall stops you, you're kind of stuck there. Find that resistance in your chest. Bend at your hips and bring your head through. You should feel the front of your shoulders and then use your arms to pull you back up. We've done this in classes in the past on a chair, but on the wall I find you can get a little bit of a different type of stretch because you're a little bit higher. You can get a little more square in your body so your hips can come straight out. So you pull your body through. Your arms are still trying to pull towards your legs though. And then you use your arms to pull you back up. So this is where you get the strength in the front of your shoulders. And down for your stretch. Oh, so good. Up for strength and down for stretch. Okay. Good job, friends. I never know what time it is. I can never, oh great, we have time. All right. Great. So come down to your mat again and find a seated position. And I think this time, let's sit like this. So bring your right leg in, just kind of like tuck it into like a half lotus pose. And the other leg open to the side. And you want those legs to be as far apart as they feel comfortable. Then bring your hand up so that your hand just rests behind your shoulders, like kind of by your spine, and grab your elbow with your other hand. And you're gonna try to pull both arms apart so you really activate your lats on the sides. Then use your left arm to pull you towards your left foot. And as you pull, you should feel the stretch in your lats from the right side, from the right armpit down towards your right hip. And you just pull back up. So you go back and forth, down for stretch, and back up for your strength. And back and forth. You can take a second in this stretch to really be aware of your balance here. When do you start to feel like you might lose your balance? When you might kind of fall over? You're challenging, it's like you're leaning, like you're gonna fall, and then you catch yourself and you come right back up. Can you find that exact moment when you just might fall and then you come right back up? See if you can find that point. If you can find it on this side, when you're deep into your stretch, can you find it on the other side? When are you up as high as you feel comfortable? And then when do you want to come over again? Moment by moment. From one side to the other and back down. It's like juggling. So you catch the ball on that side, catch the ball on this side, right? Juggling act. Oh, good. Okay, and the other side. So tuck your left leg in, bring your right leg out, bring your left arm up so that your hand just kind of hovers around your spine, and grab your elbow with your right hand. You're going to resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart, and use your right arm to pull you towards your right foot. As far as you feel comfortable and safe, and then push back up. And again, play with that idea of juggling. So the ball is like, boom, and you're going to catch it. And then you throw the ball, and then you catch it, right? So throw the ball in slow motion, and you catch it. And then you throw the ball, and you catch it. And you throw the ball, and you catch it and throw it, right? And that catch and throw happens automatically. If you're juggling and you hold the ball for any minute, you're going to lose the juggle, right? So as you're juggling, you want to make sure that you throw the ball, you catch it and throw it, you catch it and throw it, you catch it and throw it. There's never a point, it's very fluid, there's never a point of holding, of stopping. It's a back and forth, catch and throw, and catch and throw, right? Oh, so good. I love stretching, you guys. I love it. And I love it that you guys show up for class. It makes me super happy. Okay, so lay on your back. Let's test our supine bound angle one more time. So bring your knees in. Let your arms come out first to the sides. Go ahead and separate your knees and let them open up. And you can play around with the angle of your feet to where you feel really good. See if you can find a place where you feel really comfortable. And then just take a nice deep breath all the way down into your pelvis. And see if you can relax into that stretch just a little bit. This is a nice relaxation pose, so if this feels good to you, you can rest your eyes, close your eyes. You can take this time to do a little meditation. If you feel like your body wants to move a little bit, like if you feel like your pelvis wants to adjust, like I feel mine does, I'm just going to rotate my pelvis, like I'm just kind of turning my hips a little bit. Do what feels good to you. Just a little wiggle, a little bit of movement. And find the position, maybe a little anterior and posterior tilt. Find the position that feels the best to you. And maybe just moving around a little bit in the stretch feels good to you. Maybe that's what you need, right? Now, of course, you don't want to stay in this position for too long because you know how I feel about holding stretches, but if you feel like, since this is a good relaxation pose, if you feel really comfortable in this position, if you don't feel too stretched out, feel free to hang out here for as long as you want. It might be really rejuvenating for you, okay? All right, my friends. Good work today. There are a couple things that I just want to ask of you really quick. Now, the whole thing about this course is that I'm really happy to give it away for free as much as I can, but at the same time, I need to be making money. So, and I also know that like you guys are accepting my energy, and so there has to be an energy exchange. So I've made this little thing here. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Basically, what I'm asking is that if you feel like giving back, if you feel like the energy that I'm giving you is something that you want to contribute back to, the number one thing you can do is subscribe to my channel. Mainly that's because once I get enough subscribers, I can monetize on YouTube and make money from ads. So that's fantastic. The second thing you could do is donate to Stretch Chi by going down into the description below and making a donation if you feel like you want to contribute to what I'm doing. Don't feel like you need to do any of these things, or maybe pick one or two, but see if there's a way that you can give back. The third way that you could help me out is by sharing the this video or sharing my YouTube video with someone that you know, maybe on your social media pages, or even just sending a text message to your friend who you know has an issue and being like, hey, you might want to check this out, right? So share it with your friends, share it with your family by just giving me a thumbs up. Like, just like this video, giving a thumbs up actually puts it up on the algorithm and helps YouTube get it out to more people like you. So that's good, because I want more people like you, because you guys are awesome. And then the last one on this list is to give me a comment in the chat or in the comment field below. That would also be really helpful for me. Okay, guys, you guys are the best. And I love you so much. I hope you're doing well. Be safe, be healthy. Look out for some of my other videos today. That Life Renovations video will come out today, as I was saying. And we'll have class tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then again, classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 9 a.m. Unless, of course, something comes up and I can't do class. But I'm going to try to keep on that schedule for now. Okay? All right, guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.